Episode 71. Allow me to take away all your problems.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to, let's call this the first real episode of 2021 of the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. Because Friday's episode was kind of like Friday's episode, it was like Friday. So, the exercise, I don't know whether it was adequately enough, explained adequately enough. That's the correct order of words. But I hope that you all got a bit into suffering and managed to, in essence, decrease your suffering threshold. For those of you just joining for this episode on Friday, we discussed, how to decrease your suffering, really, or to decrease your suffering threshold, which was, quite interesting and marvelous to discover that route. What else? Welcome to 2021. Let's see if this year gets better than the clusterfuck that we just now shot off with bottle rockets and, all the other things that chase ghosts away. Whatever belief, suits your fancy. So today, I thought as a New Year's present, I am going to take away all of your problems universally. And shall we get started with that? Why don't we? Now that we've got the homework finished up and everything, I think it's a good time to kind of take away all of your problems, make 2021 totally and basically cool. So why did I choose the title for this episode? A long time ago, I stopped treating problems as problems and, rather saw them as challenges to which to overcome. And so I went ahead and rephrased every problem that I was confronted with into challenges, because the rephrasing I did because the word problem has a very negative connotation. And even in your subconscious mind, whenever you speak of a problem, it's very difficult to start to tackle it. To start a fight with a problem is like, I'm going to lose anyhow because, it's a problem. And so, I rephrased everything to challenges, and boom, all your problems are gone. Thank you very much. We can wrap this episode up. But, it's not really that simple, because it's about kind of reprogramming your conscious and your subconscious mind to start dealing with challenges, because it's not just the rephrasing actually that has to be done successfully, but it's also the starting to approach challenges differently than problems. And in doing that, we've done the first step. In the second step, however, we need to start to actually tackle the challenges. Now that we've kind of decommissioned, the explosiveness and the negative connotation of the word problem, we need to go ahead and start to, treat challenges as what they are. And challenges have to be faced and overcome. And why is that so? Well, every challenge that we overcome develops us further, teaches us valuable lessons in life, keeps us from doing stupid shit more than once. It's we can take this out of the real life, where lessons learned are not so cool is in banks, right? So it's a cultural issue which you might face, right? Let's take Germany and the United States, for instance. Both countries have lived significant parts of my life. In the United States, when you go bankrupt with a company or two or three, the readiness of the bank to grant you loans increases. Not really, but they give you a chance because they expect that you have learned from the mistakes that you've made, and thereby your risk of defaulting on a loan again decreases. It's a cultural thing. In Germany, if you fuck up your first company, good luck in getting another loan. That's just not going to happen. And the same is true for pretty much the rest of Europe, from what I've heard. And so it's a very interesting kind of growing up into a certain mindset and how different cultures approach problems and actually start to tackle them, right? Now, when you're facing the challenge, dedicate it your entire attention, right? Your entire attention and focus must be towards negotiating this challenge. The awareness of the challenge is key. So, if you're taking something for granted, it's going to be very, very difficult to negotiate it. Maybe you've made the same mistake one or two times, but actually consciously and with your full attention approaching the challenge kind of, makes it much more fun, and it makes the challenge actually enjoyable. Let me give you an example. I was very successful in the information technology / internet field, in that I wanted to offer web services that were not available ahead of its time, et cetera, et cetera. And all of the stuff that I learned and that I was able to offer, I really essentially programmed myself. And did I visit a school or university for learning to program? No, never happened. Never been there, never done that, never got the t-shirt or, got laid in a dorm room. Never happened to me. All of that I taught myself by trial and error. And that was really, although it was insanely frustrating. Those of you who've ever coded in, especially CSS, cascading style sheets, it's a very difficult thing to learn by yourself, even, by a textbook. But I managed to go through it and I enjoyed the challenge because the results, right? They were so rewarding when you finally made the thing do what you wanted it to do. That was just insanely rewarding. And so, the reward goes both ways. You can reward the challenge with attention and focus, and the more rewarding the more you reward the challenge. Sorry, the more reward you're going to get back once you have actually negotiated it, and that's a fact, hands down. Done that many times. When you dedicate a certain amount of attention to a challenge, and the challenge then kind of gets negotiated successfully, the outcome is just, I don't know, it just feels fucking good. And you can sing and dance and, be happy about it. And, it's just insane things start to happen. Now, there's one thing when we're talking about challenges that you shall and should, well, you shalln't. I'm not, some kind of godly person, but life is not going to leave you alone. The world is here to make you conscious and not to make you happy. So with this existence in making you conscious, life presents you and is always going to present you with challenges. Now, sometimes in challenges that you successfully negotiate, your life can actually change altogether, often for the better, because you've developed a skill, right? And this skill increases your value, your worth. you know, uh, a stupid situation. The stuff that I taught myself, as I mentioned to you just a second ago, this entire programming thing and learning how stuff works and being totally happy about it. Remember, when I finished the first project, I danced through my room and was happy as a clam. And it was like, if somebody had seen that, they'd be like, "Are you insane?" And no, what happened was I was so happy at having gotten through that the happiness was there first, and then without even knowing it, I had increased my market value significantly because I knew how to do some very complicated shit, and I taught myself just out of curiosity. And that's really one thing that you have to take away from this. Now, we have to, well, no, let me start over. It's about framing the world in your favor. Like I said, problems has a negative connotation, challenges don't. And that's, really one simple takeaway at how I solved all of your problems, earthly and unearthly, under 15 minutes. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to tell you this every episode of this year. So, we need to grow this community, folks. I've gotten so much positive feedback from people, from emails, and share this shit because to a lot of people, it's going to be insanely valuable. So in that sense, not to blow the 15 minutes, that's another challenge I've set myself, is to stay under 15 minutes. Progress on the interview things is going on as well. So stay tuned for that. And I think we've got everything covered. Have a successful day. If you already had it, have a good night. If you haven't, whatever the fuck, subscribe, share, visit us on Instagram and wherever, Twitter, Facebook, join the groups. Let's build a very fucking grand community around this. Stay tuned. See you tomorrow.